chosen one. Somewhere out there is a person who believes they're untouchable, someone who's never tasted defeat and has built their whole identity on always being the best at whatever they do. But what they don't realize is that you are about to end their perfect streak in a way they never saw coming. Let me share a truth about chosen ones that rarely gets acknowledged. You aren't chosen because life handed you an easy path. You're chosen because you're equipped to endure and overcome what most people can't. While others look for shortcuts, you've never hesitated to take the long, winding road. All those times you felt left out. All those moments when you wondered why life seemed easier for everyone else. None of that was punishment, it was preparation. Every rejection you faced taught you resilience. Every setback revealed a new direction. Every moment of being overlooked was actually a hidden gift, keeping you invisible to your competition while you gathered knowledge and insight. You've been observing, learning, and quietly taking notes while they basked in applause, unaware of the depth you were building. What's unfolding now is something you might not even fully notice yet. You've developed what I call underdog intelligence, a sharp awareness that only grows in those who have had to work twice as hard for half the recognition. You spot details others miss because you've had no choice. You understand patterns others ignore because you couldn't afford to overlook them. While the so-called winners got comfortable at the top, you were down below, getting an education life never gave them. Now here's the beautiful twist. The rules of the game are changing, and you're the only one who truly understands how to play in this new arena. Imagine this. It's Monday morning and you walk into a situation. Maybe it's a work meeting, a family gathering, or a social circle, where the usual winner is already in place, confident and maybe a little smug, expecting everything to play out like it always does. They're relying on the same moves that have worked for them 100 times before. But this time, something's different. You're different. Maybe it's at work where they normally dominate the conversation, or in your family where they're used to being the center of attention. Or maybe it's among friends where they usually call all the shots. No matter the place, you show up with a new kind of quiet confidence. It's not the loud, attention-seeking bravado they're used to. You don't need to make a scene or announce yourself from across the room. Instead, you carry the kind of confidence that doesn't need to prove anything, because you know something they don't. You sit, you listen, and you watch them play out their old routine, and for the first time you feel no intimidation. You don't feel the urge to compete with their energy or match their volume. You simply hold your ground, calm and steady, because you know you've already outgrown the old game. You're simply ready. There's a quiet certainty in your spirit that can't be faked, and that's when people start to sense something is different about you. They might not be able to pinpoint exactly what's changed, but your presence carries more weight. Without saying a word, it's as if you take up more space in the room. You feel grounded, immovable, and unmistakably solid. Even if they'd never admit it, there's a subtle shift in the energy, one that leaves them a bit unsettled. This is where things get interesting. While they've been busy relying on the same old routines, convinced their formula would always work, you've been quietly gathering insights and information that slipped right past them. You've noticed patterns they never cared to see. You've prepared for scenarios they wouldn't even consider. This isn't about being sneaky or trying to manipulate anyone. It's about being thorough, about being the kind of person who does their homework while others just hope for the best. You've studied their habits and weaknesses out of necessity, not malice, just to survive around them. You understand their strategies because you've had to adapt to them so many times. Their moves have become predictable to you, almost scripted, because you've watched them play out the same dynamics over and over. But what's truly remarkable is that they've never bothered to study you. They never thought you could be a threat, never imagined you'd be the one to upset their carefully maintained order. That is about to become their biggest blind spot, the mistake that finally costs them. Maybe you picked up on something everyone else missed, or you developed a talent they never bothered to learn, or you formed relationships they ignored. Maybe, without them noticing, you've simply outgrown the version of yourself they always assumed you'd be. Whatever it is, You're holding a card they didn't even know existed. And the moment you play it, the shock will be written all over their face. So there you are, present in the moment where everything pivots. They're doing what they always do, expecting the usual results. But you make your move. It isn't flashy or dramatic, it's just deliberate and unmistakably effective. Maybe you offer a solution that unravels the problem nobody else could solve, or you reveal a piece of information that turns the entire situation upside down. Maybe you simply stand your ground in a way that shifts the balance of the room, or you deliver a performance that raises the bar so high, everyone else suddenly seems ordinary by comparison. Whatever your move, it's so unexpected and so far outside of their expectations that it leaves everyone stunned. The energy shifts, conversations pause, and all eyes turn your way. Not because you forced it, but because your presence, your mastery, demanded it naturally. For perhaps the first time ever, you're not the underdog scrambling for approval. You're not waiting on the sidelines to be noticed or hoping for validation. You've become the standard, the benchmark everyone is now trying to reach. Meanwhile, the one who was always used to winning sits there, scrambling for answers, realizing their usual tactics have failed them. They're experiencing a sense of uncertainty they haven't felt in years, and it shakes them to their core. The reality sets in, their long-running streak is over, and they never even saw it coming. What's even more powerful is how this moment transforms you. Beating someone who's always won doesn't just shift how others view you. It fundamentally changes your own self-perception. Suddenly, you recognize that every year spent being overlooked, every season spent doubting your worth, wasn't wasted. It was an investment in your growth, a silent process of becoming exceptional. And once you taste that feeling of being genuinely and undeniably excellent at something, everything changes, especially the way you see yourself. Once you've experienced that level of excellence and achievement, you simply can't go back to accepting less from yourself. The person who beat you all those times in the past may now try to downplay what just happened. They might call it luck, insist you caught them on a bad day, or come up with all sorts of excuses to minimize your victory. Let them. Because you now understand something they're only beginning to learn. This was never a fluke. This is the direct result of all the dedication, discipline, and silent preparation you put in when nobody was watching. This was your hard work finally meeting its moment of opportunity. Quick pause, family. If this message is hitting home for you and you want to support this sacred work, consider buying me a coffee. Your support helps keep this channel alive with truth, light, and divine clarity. The link is in the description, and don't forget to drop the number 88 in the comments if you're feeling this energy. Let's keep moving forward. Now, the emergence of this new you creates a dynamic nobody can ignore. Those who once overlooked you now find themselves unsure of how to interact. The old script is gone, but the new one hasn't fully been written. You're in a unique space, no longer the underdog, but not yet fully recognized as an equal. You're in transition, and that transition can make everyone uneasy. But before we even talk about how others react, it's important to address the transformation happening within you. Overcoming someone who always won isn't just about changing how the world sees you. It completely rewrites your own internal operating system. For years, maybe decades, you've carried around a quiet voice in your head whispering doubts. You're not that special. Don't get your hopes up. People like you don't win big. That voice wasn't meant to be cruel. It was trying to protect you from disappointment, from stepping out and getting hurt. But now, after your victory, even that old protective voice is confused. It's sitting there looking at the undeniable evidence of your growth, struggling to process what's just happened. It's forced to reevaluate everything it thought it knew about your potential, and frankly, it's having a hard time keeping up. This shift creates a fascinating internal conflict. Part of you feels liberated, unstoppable, ready to take on the world with a new level of confidence. Yet another part of you feels almost suspicious, as if this new reality is too good to be true, waiting for some hidden catch or for things to suddenly revert back to the way they were. You might find yourself caught between moments of powerful self-assurance and moments of self-doubt, wondering if you imagined the whole breakthrough. You may even start downplaying your success or making excuses for it before anyone else does. This is perfectly normal. Your mind is adjusting to this new, upgraded version of yourself. The key here is to be patient but also intentional with yourself. Begin collecting proof of your new abilities. Keep track of the times when you perform at this higher level. Notice the way people now treat you differently. Understand that you're not just celebrating a single win, you're absorbing a whole new identity. You're becoming someone who delivers when it matters, someone who shapes their own reality instead of just hoping for the best. This internal transformation is so much more valuable than any one victory could ever be. Here's something most people overlook when they talk about sudden success. It doesn't just change your standing among strangers or colleagues. It completely reorders the dynamics in your closest relationships. Family members who remember your struggles might feel proud, but some could also feel left behind or worried that your growth is creating distance. Your closest friends will have their own adjustments. The friend who was always the successful one might feel threatened. The friend who bonded with you through shared hardships might worry that you're growing apart. And the one who always gave advice might now feel uncertain about their role, seeing you make moves on your own. These changes can feel uncomfortable, even awkward, but they're part of the growth process. Some relationships will deepen as those around you learn to support your success instead of just sharing in your struggles. As you begin to rise and break through your old limitations, something subtle but profound starts to happen. You truly discover who roots for your growth and who preferred you when you stayed small. This clarity can be bittersweet. Some of those closest to you, the people you always thought would be in your corner, might suddenly seem uncomfortable with your newfound confidence, ambition, and capability. The family member who used to give you endless advice about staying grounded or being realistic may now find themselves second-guessing whether their guidance really served you or whether it subtly kept you from dreaming bigger. The friend who loved to spend hours rehashing every unfair setback might become distant now that you're not available for those conversations, not because you don't care, but because your energy is focused on building solutions instead of reliving problems. It's not easy to face the reality that some connections in your life were built on the comfort of you being the struggler, the one who was always a step behind, always in need of help or encouragement. For some, your success feels like a disruption to a balance they never questioned. There may be friends who quietly liked feeling superior because they were the successful ones, or relatives who enjoyed their position as the achiever in the family, taking a kind of pride in your dependence or your need for advice. Now that you're breaking that narrative, now that you're showing up as a force in your own right, they might start pulling away, growing cold, or offering backhanded compliments that leave you wondering what changed. You may begin to notice subtle signs. Conversations feel strained, invitations become rare, and when you share good news, the energy in the room shifts. Some might make jokes about how you've changed, or tease you about your ambition, or remind you of all the times you didn't succeed, as if your old self is the only version of you they can accept. They may question your motives, or suggest that your achievements are making you arrogant, all while carefully ignoring how much you've grown and how hard you've worked. It's important to recognize that this isn't always malice. It's often fear, insecurity, or a longing to keep things as they were. When you rise, it challenges those around you to reflect on their own journey, and not everyone is ready for that. Yet this is the season where you find your true tribe. The people who genuinely love and support you, those who see your growth as a win for everyone, will start to adjust, even if it takes them some time. They'll realize that celebrating your victories brings them joy, and they'll move from being just a shoulder during hard times to being a cheerleader in your moments of triumph. New bonds will form around possibility, encouragement, and inspiration, replacing old connections built on mutual struggle or commiseration. As for those who can't accept the new you, who want to keep you stuck in your past, that tells you everything you need to know about who is really meant to walk with you into your future. But here's where the magic happens. Once you prove to yourself that you can beat the best, once you've broken the pattern and tasted true achievement, you find it almost impossible to return to that old mindset of doubt and limitation. Each new victory, each challenge overcome, stacks up as evidence that you belong at the highest level. You start to approach every situation, not from a place of hoping you're good enough, but from a deep knowing that you are. You carry yourself differently, your body language shifts, your words have a new authority. The energy you project is transformed. You're no longer waiting to be validated. You show up expecting to be respected. People sense this shift, even if they can't quite articulate it. You move from being the person who once upset the established order to becoming the standard others now measure themselves against. Soon, those who are currently overlooked, doubted, or underestimated will start to see you as the proof they've been waiting for. Your journey becomes a blueprint. You give others permission to dream, to strive, and to believe in the impossible. They see your courage, your persistence, and your transformation, and they realize that underdogs can become leaders, that the overlooked can become the essential, that greatness can come from humble beginnings. And your story keeps expanding. When a chosen one steps fully into their power, it's never just a personal win. The ripple effect touches every life around them. Maybe your children start to believe they can break through their own limits because they watch you do it every day. Maybe you inspire siblings, cousins, or friends to take their first brave step because you proved it can be done. Perhaps you even shift the culture of your workplace, your community, or your circle of influence by showing what relentless determination and faith can accomplish. Your willingness to grow, to outgrow your old story, and to rise, no matter who feels uncomfortable, sets in motion a wave of transformation that extends far beyond your individual experience. You may even see old relationships transform and heal as people begin to recognize that your success doesn't diminish them, but rather opens up new possibilities for everyone. Some will rise to the occasion, growing with you, inspired by your courage to break the mold. Others may drift away, unable or unwilling to change, but you'll learn to bless them and release them, knowing that your journey is about expansion, not shrinking to fit anyone's comfort zone. In the end, your growth reveals who truly belongs in your life and empowers you to build a future where winning is not a threat, but an invitation for others to rise with you. That's the legacy of a chosen one, turning every breakthrough into an open door, every victory into a path for others, and every transformation into a catalyst for collective elevation. The limitations that others once accepted as unchangeable don't have to be your reality. By rising above what everyone expected, you become living proof to your community that people from your background, people who look like you, talk like you, come from where you come from, can break barriers and achieve what once seemed impossible. Your breakthrough isn't just about personal success. It becomes a door opening for others who quietly dreamed but never thought they could. Every victory you achieve becomes a signal flare, a signpost of possibility for those still searching for hope. Where others once saw walls, you're now building bridges, showing everyone that the ceiling they once accepted was just an illusion. The person who used to beat you, the one who seemed unbeatable, who racked up wins while you were still learning to stand, they may have claimed those smaller victories, but you're winning something far more important. You're winning the war against the belief that greatness is reserved for a select few, that some people are simply born better. With every step forward, you're dismantling that old myth and replacing it with a new, deeper truth. Real excellence doesn't come from lucky breaks or special advantages. It's forged through the relentless pursuit of growth, the refusal to accept stagnation, and the quiet decision to keep moving forward no matter how hard the journey gets. You're embodying the idea that your current circumstances aren't your final destination, that being chosen has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with the willingness to transform, to show up for yourself, and to become more than what the world expected. One day when your story is retold, people won't begin with the moment you finally triumphed over the top competitor. They'll trace it all the way back to the early days, those long, lonely stretches when you were quietly preparing, working and growing without applause or recognition. They'll talk about how you kept showing up, even when there was no guarantee of reward, how you kept pushing yourself to improve when nobody was around to cheer you on, how you held on to self-belief when doubt echoed from every corner. What seemed like an unexpected victory will be revealed as the natural outcome of a rare and unshakable commitment, a testament to the power of perseverance when no one else is watching. The person who used to always come out on top will have to find their place in this new reality. Maybe your rise will inspire them to grow, to train harder, to respect competition in a way they never needed to before. Perhaps your determination and progress will challenge them to build new skills, to push themselves beyond their own limits, to finally see you as an equal, or even as a necessary rival who helped them become their best. Or maybe they'll choose to stay stuck, clinging to excuses and still wondering how you managed to overcome them, unable to see the truth that real strength is always built in the shadows, not the spotlight. Whatever path they choose, it will matter less and less to you because you'll be moving on. With each milestone, you'll find yourself ready for even bigger challenges, bolder dreams, and greater victories. Your focus will shift from competing with old rivals to setting new standards, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching. And that's when you realize the full measure of your journey. Your story is no longer just about proving something to those who doubted you. It's about showing others, anyone who ever felt like an underdog, an outsider, or a long shot, that what once felt impossible is simply waiting for someone bold enough to try. Your resilience and refusal to settle become the spark that lights a fire in others, until suddenly your win is just the beginning of a much larger wave of transformation. The world will start to see that the real chosen ones aren't picked by fate or luck. They're made day by day through effort, grit, and the willingness to outgrow every limitation. And as you continue to climb, the stories of your quiet perseverance and determination will become legends that empower the next generation to rise even higher. The walls that seemed permanent will fall, and the belief that people like us can't will finally be replaced by, "Look at what we can do." In the end, your journey becomes a legacy, a living, breathing message that anything is possible, and that every ceiling can be shattered with enough heart and courage. As this story draws to a close, there's something deeply important I want you to take with you, an understanding that goes far beyond a single moment of triumph. You are no longer the same person who first began this journey, the same soul who started listening, watching, or reading these words. The version of you that once shrank back, that felt intimidated by the so-called best, that doubted their own power, that version still lives within you. It's not gone. It's the foundation upon which you've built a new and greater self. It's the raw material that has been refined through fire and experience, now giving strength to a wiser, bolder, more capable you. You've lived through the feeling of being underestimated, of hearing whispers that you weren't ready or good enough, of seeing others doubt you, of being left out, counted out, and even laughed at. And now you know what it's like to surprise everyone, including yourself, to rise above every single expectation and become the one no one saw coming. You've transformed from the overlooked to the undeniable, from the doubted to the unstoppable. This knowledge isn't just information. It's a transformation that can never be undone. You can't unlearn your own strength. You can't go back to believing you're not enough because you now carry irrefutable proof within your own story. You can never again accept that others are just naturally destined for greatness while you're left behind, because you have shown by living example that greatness is earned through the choices you make and the resilience you cultivate, not just the circumstances you were born into. You now stand as living proof that chosen ones aren't set apart by luck, bloodline, or fate alone. The real difference lies in what you do with what you're given, the daily decision to become more than what the world expected. Every challenge you survived, every failure you learned from, every day you kept going when quitting seemed easier, has built you into someone extraordinary. And the beauty of it is, your story now becomes a beacon for others who are still in that quiet place of doubt and invisibility. Every time someone new feels like they'll never be good enough, like they'll never overcome, like their moment to shine will never come, your journey becomes a living reminder that sometimes the most unexpected victories are the ones that matter most. Because when you defeat the best at the very moment no one believed you could, you don't just win for yourself. You change the entire landscape for everyone who's been quietly hoping it could be them too. And so what now? Now you have a choice that is yours alone. You could rest on this win, content in the knowledge that you proved everyone wrong, letting this victory become your glory days story. The tale you tell again and again about that one incredible moment you had. But deep down you know there's more. You know that this moment, as sweet and powerful as it is only the beginning. It is not your peak, it's your launch pad. Now that you've realized you can stand toe-to-toe with the best, maybe you'll start to dream bigger than you ever dared before. Maybe you'll look out at new possibilities, new heights you once thought were beyond you, and see that you've only scratched the surface of your true potential. This victory isn't your final destination. It's the starting line of a new chapter that's waiting to be written. It's proof that if you could do this, if you could overcome, transform, and shine, there is no telling what you could do next. The world may think your breakthrough was the climax, but for you, it's only the introduction. You weren't chosen to settle for good enough. You didn't walk through adversity, learn all those lessons, and develop this depth of wisdom just to stay comfortable. You have something unique, something irreplaceable to share with the world. A light, a vision, a power that belongs only to you. Now that you know you can beat the best, it's time for the world to discover what else you can do. It's time to take all that strength, resilience, and creativity and pour it into something greater than you ever imagined. Your unexpected victory was just the spark. The best of your story, your impact, your legacy, it's still waiting ahead. This is only the beginning. The best is yet to come. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten Wisdom.